Welcome back, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Chef It Up. I'm your host, Dianthea Smith, and as you can see, it's a little chilly these days. The weather is definitely cooling down, and I feel like some fall comfort food, and I knew that the best person to bring back for this dish would have been Chef Marissa Glinton. You killed it with our girls' night dish. You killed it with our Halloween dish. I need some comfort food.
It's that time. It's that time.
Welcome back to Chef It Up. What are you making for us today?
Thank you. Well, like you said, it's fall. The weather's changing. You want that food you can kind of curl up with. And you want something sweet and then you want something savory. So the first thing we're going to do is a cranberry, nut, and chocolate bread pudding with a bourbon.
Sounds like heaven.
The bourbon like cream sauce. First thing we're going to do is let's get our bread over here.
All right.
And I'll show you how to start this, and maybe you can kind of begin cutting, and then from there I'll show you how to kind of blend up the rest of the ingredients. You can use a lot of different types of bread for bread pudding. I find that French bread holds up well with the egg and the milk and everything else.
All the
so it's
mushiness.
Still fluffy, but it doesn't get too soft.
Okay, nice.
I find a lot of people don't like bread pudding, and I think it's because of the texture. It can be a little mushy for people.
Yes, bread pudding sometimes could be a little soggy, but in a good kind of way. I like to top mine sometimes with ice cream or some caramel and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I love bread pudding.
Me too. I tend to use the baguette because I find that it holds up better. It'll absorb that egg and milk without just falling in on itself, right?
All right, nice.
So we're just gonna cube this up into pieces about this size, okay? So I'm gonna let you actually take that over.
All right.
Okay.
I can finish that up for you.
I'll move that over here for you.
All right.
And I'll get started on the actual base for right? So our base is gonna consist essentially of heavy cream, eggs, and sugar. And a little bit of vanilla. And then we're gonna fold all of that in together with the cranberries and the nuts and everything. And then we just pop in the oven. The oven's already preheating to 400 degrees. So I'm actually putting 5 large eggs in here. And I'm going to whisk that together with about a half a cup of sugar. So I'm just mixing the sugar and the eggs together first. And they usually call that creaming, actually.
Okay.
And that's just to help everything kind of dissolve at the same.
So what other fillings could be used for like a good fall time bread pudding? I know we're using the cranberry and the chocolate chips and the nuts, which is perfect.
Right.
But if somebody else wanted to do like a variation of this.
Absolutely. For example, if you want to do in the summer, you can do a citrus one. So you can use some of like the lemon zest or the orange zest if you want to do kind of a more citrusy flavor.
Feels like Christmas morning.
Just gonna get this heavy cream here.
And so of course, are we starting with the bread pudding because it's probably gonna take the longest?
Yep, and so we're gonna pop that in the oven. So I'm putting in about a quart of heavy cream. I'm just gonna try to incorporate all of that together.
So what have you been up to?
The same. Cooking,
a lot of cooking.
Trying to get some play in there, but this is my favorite time of year.
Yes,
so
me too.
There's a lot of like Christmas parties and family time and cocktails, and everybody's feeling a little happier. And
we have a little cocktail a little later, right?
Of course.
Yeah, Marissa never leaves our kitchen without making us something really, really good to drink, and I love her for that.
I can't disappoint.
The last episode, I would not tell our audience how you sent me home. Okay, we would just keep that a secret. Just now, I was feeling really good.
It was a good day.
I had a fun day.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this enough bread, or should I go some more?
You can actually do that whole loaf.
Oh, perfect.
You can just start putting them in here and let them start absorbing.
Oh, so you just toss your bread cubes right into this mixture, and there's heavy cream, a little bit of sugar.
Absolutely.
What else?
Heavy cream.
Eggs.
About a half cup of sugar, 5 eggs. We're gonna put a little bit of vanilla in there, just about a tablespoon of vanilla.
Okay.
And that bread. You want me to finish that up?
Sure, you can. Okay. Or you can get me started.
Yeah, well, you can actually just start mixing that around and making sure everything gets coated.
All right.
And you can start folding these in since I'm just still cutting up the bread.
See how fun this is?
This is our nut mixture. This is chocolate chips, cranberries, pecans, macadamias, cashews. You can choose any nut, any number of nuts, as few nuts, whichever you want.
All right, so I'm just folding some of these bread cubes into this mixture that we made. And now I'm going to toss in the colorful part. So throw the whole thing in?
Yeah, well, you probably put about, that's probably about 12 ounces. You probably need about 8 ounces, but just kind of sprinkle it in and we can always see. It depends. It's as heavy or as light as you want it. It's not gonna really change the bake effect. But
And in this we have some cashews, some almonds, some peanuts, of course some cranberry, macadamia nuts, and of course some chocolate chip.
Absolutely.
All right.
Toss those
perfect.
Together. I'll just finish this last
This is really
piece.
easy.
It is. It's simple. You know, I'm not big on baking, but I do like, you know, certain desserts, and I always feel like it's nice to have them for the people who do like desserts. I'm not a huge dessert person.
I could see this is gonna taste really good.
Okay.
It's already
all right. So that's the last of our
good.
loaf. Just gonna put all these little crumbs in there, because why not? They're just gonna absorb all that good stuff.
Oh, the crumbs add to it as well?
Yeah, it just gives it a little binder, because it's gonna, you know, dissolve really quickly.
Nice. All right, so we're just mixing in our bread cubes with our little fruit and nut mix here, and of course putting that into the little moist mix you make. What do we call that? The binder?
It's almost like an anglaise. So anytime you see you go to a restaurant, they have a creme anglaise. It's essentially sugar, egg, milk, which is your base for ice cream, right? So if you melted ice cream and then you use that as a sauce, it's practically the same thing, more or less. Okay.
Okay. So are we good, or?
I think we're good. You just want to make sure you don't see any sort of dry
ones.
Oops,
yeah.
making a little mess there. Yeah, you just want to make sure everything's kind of
saturate all
sucking
of
up
your
all that good
bread
stuff. Right.
Let me just throw my little crumbs in here then.
Yeah, why not?
Perfect.
If you smell this right now, you can actually already smell.
That's why I say I know it's gonna taste really good, because it smells
nice.
good. You love to make fun food. That was my last comment to you, and I love that you love to do the fun, colorful stuff. You know.
You know, I feel like we eat with our eyes first. Anything you see, you know, it makes you that much more engaged, right?
Perfect.
Okay, and so then now we're just gonna pour this right in to.
That is so simple. Like you could literally do that. We did it like what, maybe 5 minutes?
Literally, it's
that
like
so simple.
If you were supposed to bring something for a party
and you forgot.
if you have bread at your house and some milk, you just knock it together.
Yeah, whip up a good bread pudding,
and you look like a baking
I'm sure you'll knock it at the park.
Right. You just want to make sure all of your additives are kind of spread evenly through all your berries and nuts and stuff.
All right, you guys. So our bread pudding is about to go into the oven. And this is Chef It Up. We're making the heartiest fall comfort food. We'll be right back. All right, you guys, welcome back to Chef It Up. I just wanted to toss a little bit more cranberries, chocolate chips, and some nuts on top of the bread pudding before she put that in the oven. So she's going to sprinkle a little sugar as well. All right, this is going to be really good.
And then we're just going to pop in the oven.
All right, perfect. And now it's time to get started on our sausage spice pumpkin soup. Did I get that right?
Indeed, you got it right.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I love sausages. I love Italian sausage we're using, right?
Italian sausage, one of my favorites.
Pumpkin soup. So I am super excited to get this one going.
One of my favorite. I am going to have you dice up an onion for me.
Okay, here come the tears.
Is that, or you can do the pumpkin, whichever you prefer. You rather do the pumpkin? Okay. The first thing we do, we just want to get the seeds out of the middle here.
Okay, good.
So I'm just gonna core them. Now, this can be a little tough, this little exterior, so be very careful when you're kind of breaking this down. So again, you know, we're thinking fall, we're thinking comfort food. I feel like soup.
Yeah.
You know, soup is always a good thing. I always find in the restaurant this time of year, people almost always come in and go, what soups do you have?
Yeah.
And when you're home, the good thing about soup is, you know, you make a pot of soup, you eat some today, you eat some tomorrow.
And the day after.
Eat some the day after, right? And it's always there, and it's always kind of readily available and delicious, honestly. Now we're using pumpkin, but you can also use squash if you prefer it.
Okay.
You can use potato in the same way for this if you're not a big pumpkin fan. I know a lot of people are a little finicky about pumpkin.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't feel like going through this process, I won't tell anyone if you use the canned pumpkin. It works the same way. It'll just be a slightly different texture. Okay. So once we take all these out, all we really want to do is kind of cut off the skin here on the outside. So let me just show you how to do that.
Me and cutting, I tell you, are no friend.
Yeah, and pumpkin can be a little tricky.
Well,
That's
let me
why
do this then.
You can do the onion then. I'll work on this.
I'll
I'll craft this down over here. Okay.
I'll just cry. Could I use that one, that knife?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so I'm gonna just dice up our onions over here. Pardon the tears if they start to roll. And she is just getting our pumpkin ready for our pumpkin spicy
sausage and pumpkin soup. That's right. We're also gonna put some beans in there. I love beans. They're a great filler. I think we talked about that before too, in the way that they are. I'm not a bean girl, but I'm not a bean girl, but I could get down. you can make an exception. You can make an exception, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So our pumpkin is in here. It's just simmering down, boiling down a little.
Salted water. That's it.
And now we're going to get to the sausage and the herbs part.
Absolutely.
All right.
So right here, we already have diced up some onions, some garlic, some sage, some thyme. And we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of butter into our saute pan, which is nice and hot. And you want it really nice and hot because you almost want to get some brown color on your sausage and your vegetables to really get that caramelized. You know what?
And what she's doing is prepping the pan for me, who I am over here getting our sausages ready, right?
And I'm gonna jump in and help you with that.
Good. So as you can see, I cut them straight down the middle, as she advised me to. And we're just gonna take all of that good meat out of the skin there. Oh, yeah.
So we're just gonna go ahead and sweat down our herbs.
Just gonna prepare these while our herbs sweat down. And again, she says we're using Italian sausages because they just go with everything.
It does. It goes really well with sage. Like I said, and the sage for me and pumpkin are just kind of a natural sort of fit.
All right.
So we just wanna get these sweating a little bit first. We don't have to go too far ahead on the sausage because we want the sausage to pick up this flavor while it's cooking as well.
And in here smells so good. The combination of the pumpkin and these herbs right now and all that goodness coming from the oven, it really does smell also like fall, you know?
So what we're doing is we're just gonna take the meat out of the casing just so we can actually have like the ground meat itself. You can slice it up, you can leave it in slices if you'd like. I personally prefer to actually take that meat out of the casing and just use the ground meat.
Yeah, I assumed we were gonna have the whole sausage, but this is actually interesting. Just taking these out of the the skin.
My eyes are watering right now.
See? Oh, the onions got you instead.
They got me.
Surprisingly, I didn't cry as I was cutting them up. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm proud of you as well.
But yeah, the more they sweat down, the more potent they seem to get though.
Perking up right now.
All right, so our Italian sausages are in the... I love the fact that you did Italian sausage as opposed to the ground beef. So we're using it as a ground beef, but it's not really ground beef.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a different flavor, different texture.
Now pork sausage, first of all, pork has infinitely more flavor to me, but the sausage in itself, because of the fat mixed in with the meat, that keeps everything kind of a little moist, definitely gives it more flavor. Remember, fat is always flavor.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just gonna let this kind of come and simmer now, come together.
All right, want me to mix that for you?
Cook up, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
So our pumpkin has been simmering now for a while, and again, people always think it's so difficult, but if you look, I mean, it's already just kind of falling off.
Oh yeah, that is
soft.
So tender.
It's soft, it's ready to go. So what I'm actually gonna do now is I'm gonna add our beans into this mixture. Put the rest of these casings here.
All right.
All right.
What kind of beans are we using today?
Now we're actually using northern beans. You can use white beans, you can use black beans, kidney beans, whatever bean you prefer, but I just like a white bean in the soup. I think the colors, it kind of keeps that sort of pale but nice effect. And we're gonna also use the water that it came in, okay? We wanna keep that because that's gonna also add to the flavor.
Okay, this smells so good. Oh, I am happy.
So
this is smelling really good.
We're gonna heat those beans through. I mean, those onions really got me today.
My
That's
eyes
a first.
must be onion proof today.
I don't know what happened.
Because
Those
I am
really
not
got me
even
today.
crying. I am not.
No,
usually it's me.
I was at a wedding yesterday and I've been crying for 2 days straight. So that could be it. Maybe my tear ducts are just like super sensitive.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see already it's kind of just, I mean, I could eat this just like this, all right? And right now this is just the beans and the pumpkin. Of course the beans were already cooked because they were in the can, they're pre-cooked, so we're really just heating it through. So that's gonna come up to a simmer, that's gonna come right along. We're gonna add a little bit more salt. And like I said earlier, you know, it's a spiced pumpkin soup. So we're gonna add a little cinnamon, maybe like a ½ teaspoon, nothing too crazy.
All right.
And then we're gonna add also about a teaspoon of nutmeg, ½ teaspoon of nutmeg to bring some of that flavor out.
Now, how do we know when our sausages are done? Because you know we're used to our sausage turning brown.
Right. Well, here's the thing: we're gonna let it finish cooking in the soup.
Okay.
Anyway.
So this is just
so this is just to kind of get everything kind of going.
Okay. Perfect.
And we're gonna add some crushed red pepper because you need a little spice.
I love spice.
To really kind of perk this up, a little heat, right, to warm you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So let's see. Let's just make sure we get some of those clumps broken up in the pork here, so everybody doesn't get, you know,
cut them down.
All the pork in their one bowl.
This is me and my meat-loving self. I just like big chunks of meat.
Yeah, but I mean,
oh man, that smells really good.
It's
the
so
pumpkin, the cinnamon coming together in here smells like heaven.
Okay, so now we're just gonna incorporate this into our soup.
This is so simple and so easy to make.
It really is. I mean, and the flavor is so good. You could add spinach to this. You could add kale if you wanted to.
Oh, nice.
You could add any kind of sort of greens.
Okay.
If you wanted to kind of, and obviously if you don't want the meat in there at all, don't put it in there.
Yeah.
You can use mushrooms instead. You can add a different kind of bean and maybe do 2 beans. There's no real rhyme or reason to this thing. It's just all about the flavor. So you can adjust it to the way you kind of eat.
This looks good and this smells even
nice
better.
And hearty and thick. So the only thing we're gonna add to this now before we just let it kind of simmer, I'm gonna start to turn this down because we want it to not boil away, is a little bit of vegetable stock.
Okay.
Now, not to be confused with vegetable broth. Vegetable broth usually comes salted. This is just what you cook out of the vegetables, no salt added, just a stock, because we're gonna season it the way we want to.
Okay, good.
But this is just to add a little bit more sort of broth and gumption and
how do we know how much to add, or do we just go on?
This would have been 2 cups, so I put about 1 cup in just now, okay?
Okay, good.
And depending on how much it cooks down, I usually just wait before I decide if I'm gonna add some more.
Okay.
All right, so we're just gonna let that simmer. I'm actually gonna peek in on our, I don't
Perfect.
know if you wanna,
Let me just let me just mix this around for you.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna mix our spicy sausage pumpkin soup here, and of course in here we have some beans, we have some pumpkins, we have our Italian sausages that we took out of the skin and we just kind of chopped them down a little.
Right.
Some herbs and spices like our onions and garlic, and we put some sage in there.
And
some thyme, some crushed pepper, some, what did we use, cinnamon? Oh,
cinnamon, nutmeg. Sorry, I'm getting excited about the bread pudding.
That's okay. The cinnamon, the nutmeg, and we're literally just mixing this all down, and this smells so good.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm not a bean girl, but these beans getting me today.
They're delicious, trust me. So here's what I'm gonna do now, because you know, this is my favorite part.
The drink.
The cocktail.
We have a cocktail to accompany this drink, guys. So my sausage spice pumpkin soup is brewing. Our bread pudding is in the oven, you guys. And after this break, we're gonna toss it up with a little drink. We'll be right back. This is Chef It Up. Welcome back to Chef It Up, you guys. Our fall comfort dish is coming together nicely. But first, the fun part. The drink.
The drink.
I love her when she comes in my kitchen because she always completes the meal with something really tasty. So let's just grab our stuff here.
All right.
All right, and our 3 main ingredients, some apple juice, some cider, and some bourbon.
Absolutely.
Why
and it's
not?
really simple. Anytime I think fall, anytime I think Thanksgiving, Christmas, I think apple cider. I grew up in the fall in New England, so, you know, apple cider was a big thing up in New England. So when you're making this, the best thing to do is either find the organic apple cider, not the sparkling cider, but the organic apple cider, or the pressed apple cider, or the pressed apple juice. You don't want to just use the regular apple juice.
What's the difference?
It doesn't, even if you look at it, you can see that color.
Yeah.
So essentially what they do is they literally, what they call it is pressing, right?
Okay.
So it gets a lot of that sort of like, you know how you have pulp in orange juice? You kind of have, this is thicker.
Okay.
You know, usually when we buy regular apple juice, that is sort of processed and strained and filtered and all these other things. This is the whole fruit, like, just imagine it being like consistently like pressed.
Okay.
All right. So it's really simple. I love bourbon. I really love bourbon. I'm a whiskey girl, you know, other than vodka, but.
Do you know what I tried for the first time not so long ago? That Fireball cinnamon
Fireball whiskey.
Would that work good with this?
That's tricky because it's such a distinct flavor.
Oh, I love it.
But cinnamon is also one of those fall flavors. So yeah, I mean, try it.
I'll
Why not?
try that one.
Why not?
I love that drink. Like, I had a couple shots of that one night, and I was just like, whoa. At first I was afraid of it. So this looks hard.
Right.
This like, it's gonna be pepper, gonna burn my throat, but that went down so smoothly.
It does.
So I could kind of see it working with this. I'll try it and let you know.
Yeah, you should. So this is literally about 1.5 to 2 ounces, depending on how strong you want it, of the bourbon. And then we're gonna put our pressed apple juice in there, and then we're just gonna top it with a little cider.
With some cider.
And that's just for the bubbly effect. Now, you can use this cocktail warm or cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So obviously with the warm one, you don't have to add this part of it. What you would do, you would just heat this up, and then you would just pour a little bit of your bourbon in. We had this chilling because we're drinking it chilled, but if you wanted to keep it warm, take it straight off the shelf, leave it on the cupboard or whatever else, and you just add that to the warm cider.
That warm version sounds
really
like
good.
the best medicine.
It
sounds like if you're sick one day, but you like really want to drink and you really want some medicine at the same time,
exactly.
like why not?
it's like a hot toddy.
Yeah,
you know?
like okay, I'm sick, but I think I need a drink.
It's really, really good.
All right, so we're just gonna top this off. Of course, some bourbon in here, some pressed apple juice. I'm just gonna top it off with some
little cider.
Just for the bubbly
effect. Bubbly.
Oh yay!
All right.
Could we sprinkle like cinnamon on there?
Get out of my head, girl.
Really?
How
That's
you
what
know,
we're
girl?
gonna do?
How you know that, girl?
Me and her, like.
Listen, we're just on.
This a food partnership right here. Yeah. Because I just feel like I need cinnamon in this. And I just knew that cinnamon was coming. Oh yeah,
and
this is
honestly,
awesome.
when you do it the warm way, if you do it the warm way, when you put this to heat, if you put some cinnamon sticks in there, yeah, really, really, really
This is amazing. This is a perfect like holiday type of drink.
Absolutely. So what we want to do, just because we don't want that bourbon all sitting at the bottom, we're just gonna do like a little stir here. I want you to know that I have chopsticks in my kitchen, and I use them for almost everything except chopsticking, almost all the time.
Really?
Yeah. This is like one of my favorite tools. But I have them at the bar all the time because I feel like they're just really good for that.
Nice.
All right. So there's that. Do we want to take a sip? Oh, you know what we should do first? Let me check this bread pudding.
Yeah, well, I could sip while you check.
You do that. I just don't want us to burn this up. You sip.
Don't burn the bread pudding, but I'll try this out.
And I think we're ready. I just smelt it. You know, when you smell it, you get these scent recognitions.
No, this is like Christmas Day inside the house with the whole family there. This is so holiday, fall, comfort, Christmas deliciousness. I don't even know what else to say. That just came out, and I'm like, what is going on?
What's happening?
Okay, hold on, wait. This, I haven't tasted that as yet, but these two so far are like, just leave me alone. Don't call my phone. Don't text me.
Don't text and call.
Don't call. I'm just gonna watch TV all day and eat and drink my face off.
Don't bother me at all. Okay, so
but this is delicious. This is absolutely, and it's not strong either.
It is. It's really nice and light. A lot of people always are a little intimidated by bourbon or whiskey because they think it's like, but this is nice. I can drink these sort of all evening.
Not bad at all. And then of course you can make like a kid-friendly version. Just don't add the bourbon.
Don't add the bourbon.
Just use like the apple juice and apple cider.
Absolutely.
Sprinkle a little cinnamon on there and let them have fun. But we almost forgot that there's actually food in the kitchen today because that drink just kinda,
Okay.
So back to our soup though.
Our soup has been simmering.
Done.
Our soup should be nice and done by now. Everything's coming together. We can see where that pumpkin is kind of almost completely broken down.
I'm ready to eat.
The beans are there.
I'm just ready to eat.
Let's just jump in. Let's just dig in here, all right?
All right.
So you want to make sure you get a little bit of everything in there, right? So we have some sausage, we have the pumpkin.
Yes, plenty of meat for me, please.
Like I said, you can add more or less to this. So you can add the spinach, the kale, collards if you want, things like that. Let's tidy up on the side here, see the drip.
Perfect. This smells really good. It looks so comforting. I'm just gonna dig in right now.
Please do, and let me know. Let me know what you think.
Okay, it's still a little hot, but I'll risk it all for you guys.
Where are we going? It's good.
This is comforting.
I love pumpkin soup by itself, but with the sausage.
This is actually perfect. The textures that come together from the sausage, and then you have a little grindiness from the pumpkin, but it's just not so much. And for people who don't like pumpkin, it's really just all like boiled down. Like you have some bits and pieces here and there, but it's nothing major at all.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely amazing.
Let me cut your bread pudding.
Please.
Gotta get you the bread pudding.
And of course this drink
of life.
This is really good. Are you like a mixologist? Because like you come with all the
this is what I do.
All the perfect drink mixes.
This is what I do in my spare time. It really is. I'd be lying otherwise. But I have a drinking crew. You always ask what the girls are up to eating. Well, we are always cocktailing.
Up to drinking as well. And of course, you guys, let's not forget that you also made this little
bourbon
bourbon drizzle to go over
there.
Our bread pudding. Like I said earlier, I love to eat my bread pudding with ice cream on top. But of course, you can make your own homemade little sweet sauces that you can put together. What all did we put in this one?
So that was literally butter, a little butter, sugar, heavy cream, and some bourbon. It's really simple, and it's just a drizzle. It's just gonna kind of get absorbed by all of this good. Look at that. Oh, look at that goodness right there.
That looks really good.
All right.
I can't get enough of the soup though.
And then let's do a little of that sauce drizzle. And you know, because we always have to kind of do a little extra, right?
So, as you can see, guys, look at that. This is the bread pudding that we made earlier. Just layers of bread. You can see cranberries in there. Our chocolate chips that have melted into the bread.
Yep.
Those nuts are sitting in there, and we're just gonna drizzle this now.
Just a little bit of this little drizzle here.
With a little bit of that sauce we just made.
And you know, I love whipped cream on almost everything, right? So we're just gonna talk about that.
Why not?
Because why not? Let's just run out.
Why not add the whipped cream?
Let's just add a little bit of that. All right.
Okay, see? Now this is that real...
Here we go. We're comforting. We're comforting
comfort
here.
Food. Let me go in, okay? I'm just gonna go all the way in right now. Got a little bit of everything in there. I want some whipped cream. Oops. So hot, it's sliding right off.
Sliding right off, exactly.
All right.
On a couch with some Netflix. Yeah, that's that.
On the couch, Netflix, socks, a bottle of, well, a glass of our
glass
drink,
of this. Yep.
and that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Chef Marissa, this is absolutely amazing.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
This is so hearty. Like, I love the juxtaposition of the softness of the bread, the little tanginess of the cranberry, and then the crunch of those nuts.
Yeah.
This is absolutely amazing. This is indeed fall comfort food. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I love you. I must just say it. I'm going to say it on national. I'm going to say it on TV. I love you. Thank you.
The proclamation is accepted.
You guys,
Always
thank you
a
so much.
pleasure.
This has been Chef It Up. We'll see you next time. Get your fall comfort food on.